Hello and welcome to the Survival to Success and the Health Warrior podcast. Today, I want to talk to you about the top 6 somewhat hidden reasons that women over 40 fall off the health wagon and what to do about it. The reason I say women over 40 is because I am speaking from my own experiences since I have been on my health journey since around the age of 40. Yeah, I was on a health journey intermittently before that, but really am focused on the journey that I've had since I was over 40 because there are some big differences when it comes to looking at age. And so what I'm going to do is give you a good look at least the reasons that affected me, which I also see in my clients are some of the most common reasons that women over 40 fall off the health wagon, and to give you some practical tips and tricks for ways to stay on track. And the one main one that I'll talk about at the end that is probably one of the most important to remember. So the first thing is having mental blocks and limiting beliefs. Now, when we come from childhood, we come from all of our past experiences, we come with things like negative self-talk. We come from doubting ourselves, not believing in ourselves. Oh, I don't know if I can do this, or here I go again, I'm failing again, or I'm supposed to be eating this healthy food, and I went and had this junk food again. And we get down on ourselves. So negative self-talk is a big reason, and sometimes we say, just screw it. I'll try this thing later, and we completely go off the wagon. And then there's also things like fear of failure, thinking like, and it stops us from even really starting because we think, oh, I can't do this because in the past I couldn't do it, or you know, it seems like I get started, I'm good for 2 or 3 weeks, and then I quit on myself, right? And so there's that fear of failure that stops us from either moving forward, or we just fall off the wagon and say, oh, forget it, I can't do this, right? And so much of this comes from the trauma that we've had both in childhood, which is the biggest one, and also life traumas that we've had throughout our life. So once you're over 40, you've had 40, and I'm over 50 now, but you have 40 or 50 years of experience on this earth where we have lived our traumas, we have relived our traumas, experienced new traumas, and these all affect the way we feel about ourselves, and create more and more of those fears and mental blocks. And so the way that we can work at preventing this is really getting to know ourselves, because quite often when we're over 40, we start to realize, I've been living my life for everybody else. I've been living according to what society expects me to do, to go to school, get a job, get married, have kids, be on the hamster wheel, and do all the things that are expected of me. And now reflecting on yourself, saying, like, here I am, over 40, heading towards menopause. My kids are heading towards moving out of the house. And it's like, who the heck am I, right? And so quite often we have these ingrained beliefs that start to come up because we're heading towards major life change. When those kids leave the house, when we're maybe starting to feel a little maybe bored or a little unsettled in our career, or feeling like, gosh, there should be more to life at this point, right? So we're kind of in this very interesting time of our life where our our sense of self and our identity is really shifting. So this is where a lot of times hiring a coach and having somebody in your corner, or having somebody do like I did like hypnotherapy, which is using hypnosis to really dig into the subconscious mind and find that sort of those different levels of like who we really are. Peel away those limiting beliefs and get to the root of who we truly are without those beliefs, right? So those mental blocks and limiting beliefs are a huge reason why we quit on ourselves. But by reprogramming and really becoming more self-aware and realizing this is the phase of life we're at, and now that we're here, like it's maybe time to take a closer look at ourselves and to become more self-aware and to really, really tap into who we truly are. And that makes a big difference. The second one, and I'm calling it emotional eating, but there is things like stress and boredom and just looking for comfort and things like that and saying, I've done so well, I deserve to have a bag of chips and Netflix or something like that, right? And I've been there. And so first of all, there is within all of those causes, there is numbing behaviors to deal with past trauma. There is escape when you don't want to have to make difficult decisions, or there's just things in your life that you don't want to be doing, and so you just procrastinate and you kind of think, okay, I'll just, what, to heck with it, I don't want to do that right now. I'm going to go and have some food. I'm going to go watch a movie or go nibble on some snacks. And so this is why when we're looking at emotional eating, it's really important to look at, okay, what is the reason that you're eating? It's not because you're hungry, right? So it's shifting that belief about food. So what can I do instead that is going to help me with boredom? Whether it's go for a walk, to connect with nature, ground yourself, and then look at, okay, why or what is it that I'm trying to escape from? Am I escaping from an emotion, trying not to feel a certain way? Am I avoiding a decision? Am I, is there something that I should be doing that I don't want to do? So now I'm eating instead, right? And so that's really what mindful eating is. It's just paying attention to what is it that's making me want to eat. And, if you really truly are hungry, have something healthy, like just make better choices. That will help. But the thing for me and my experience with this is that whenever I would go to reach for food, there would always be an underlying reason that was related to procrastination. Procrastination just means you're delaying making a decision. So that's why this picture says now or later, because if you just say, okay, I need to make a decision, I need to, there's something I have to do or that I need to do for, let's say it could be my business or my family, or I need to make a decision, just adopt the philosophy of do it now. If you focus on the philosophy of just go do it now, you go get the decision looked after, you get the situation looked after, you take action on what you need to do. And if you start developing that habit, and what helped me was having hypnosis that really helped to peel away some of those layers so that, and then to re-emphasize this do it now as a philosophy, doing that in hypnosis really made a difference. And so now I do have this philosophy of when something needs to get taken care of, I just do it now. And then I reward myself for saying, good job. Instead of saying I'll do it later, which is always a cause for problem, because we'll probably won't do it, and then we'll fuss about it, and we'll constantly be thinking about it and stressing about it because we didn't just do it now, right? So you're better off there's no matter what it is, just do it now, right? And if you have trouble with that, get some help. Get a coach, get a hypnotherapist, and really help to peel away some of those layers so that you can adopt the philosophy of do it now. Because that, in the big picture, and I've been through all of these things, all of this emotional eating, all this procrastination, and what helped me the most was adopting the philosophy of do it now, because later never works. The third reason is things that are deep inside of our subconscious. Now, I talked a little bit about this already, but those experiences that we had in childhood with being traumatized, developing beliefs about ourselves, about believing that we need to be a certain way. Like as a woman, let's say over 40, we have children, we should be putting everybody else first. And there's all these expectations that, the lady needs to, take the kids to here and then make the meals and then do this and go to work and all these things. There's all these kind of like how society has been. That there are some changes coming that I can see, especially recently with the role of the female and societal expectations. However, since as long as I can remember, though, there has been these expectations that women just need to be super people. It's like, and there's all these deeper beliefs and all this programming from way back when we were children based on what we saw as kids, what we experienced, and what we lived out in our own life as a result of those experiences, right? So that's really what cultural conditioning is. We were taught the way you're supposed to be, and then we simply just act it out, right? And so when it comes to reversing that, the good news is that our brains are neuroplastic, meaning that we can change those pathways. We can change that programming. We can reprogram our subconscious mind. And one of my favorite ways of doing this is through hypnosis. And this is why I include hypnosis in all my health programs, because it's so important to go deeper into that subconscious mind, because there's so much that we're not conscious of that's dictating our decisions and dictating the way we do things, that is causing us to self-sabotage, causing us to quit on ourselves, or not believe that we're worthy, or just feel like it's not worth the bother to look after my health when I have so many other things to do, maybe in the world or for other people, right? So these are all subconscious beliefs that we can shift and change. And like I said, there's other ways we can do it, especially when it comes to like facing fears and doing exposure therapy and various other things. But I can tell you that from what I've seen, my most favorite method is doing subconscious reprogramming using hypnosis. And hypnosis is something that we can do ourselves. We don't always have to have a hypnotherapist. My experience is I used a hypnotherapist because I found it hard to do it myself. And once I had the experience with it and I was practiced with it and I was used to relaxing and getting into that state, then I was able to do a lot of the hypnosis myself. And to this day now, I do self-hypnosis on a regular basis, which makes a huge difference in my life for things like my confidence, with being consistent with do it now, right? And so there's many other positive things that we can create in our mind that lead to having more consistency with our health and putting ourselves and our needs first. This is really important when it comes to health, because if your life doesn't revolve around your health, it's going to be very difficult, because you're never going to find time for health. You have to make time, and it has to be a priority. The fourth one is lack of motivation. How many of us feel overwhelmed and burnt out and feel like, there's all these expectations around us and we're expected to be this and that. When we have company, we have to set our needs aside and only look after them and all this other stuff. A lot of these expectations, don't forget though, are things in our own mind that we believe are expected of us, but it's created in our own mind. So if you actually looked at the truth of the situation, those expectations are something that's self-created. It's not expectations that other people have, and their expectations are irrelevant because it's your life. Okay? And so ways to prevent this is, number one, putting your health at the center of your life. And so have your health, or sort of have your life revolve around your health and not the other way around. So if your health revolves around your life, you're never going to find time for it. Something's always going to get in the way, whether it's company or life circumstance or something happens, whatever. But if your life revolves around your health, the health happens no matter what. Even if you have a death in the family, you have people come over unexpectedly, all kinds of stuff, the health will always come first when you have it central to your life. So it makes a huge difference when you shift your priorities. And then, of course, there's things like we get kind of frustrated, maybe in the middle of our health journey. We say, I was doing good, but now, okay, how many times have you found yourself saying that? Oh my gosh, I was doing so well until, or I was doing so great, and but then, right? But then this happened. But then I got bored. But then I started not getting results anymore. But then, right? So there's always these little times during our journey where we feel like we hit a plateau and it becomes discouraging. We start to feel like we're not making progress, and we kind of lose motivation. So this is where it's really important to, if you're part of a group, check back into the group and get some encouragement from people. You know, uh, Juice up your routine a little bit. Maybe, throw in a little bit of jogging instead of just walking all the time, or add in a new workout. Switch up your routine a little bit. Explore new activities, maybe going hiking with a friend or a few other things. So just overcoming those plateaus just means getting creative and saying, what can I do differently that's going to help to shift that and to kind of get my mojo back? And part of this is, and I'm going to talk a lot about this, is the hypnosis, because hypnosis can create those beliefs, the confidence, and the sense of innate motivation can be rejuvenated by doing hypnosis as well. So that's why, again, I include hypnosis as part of all of my health programs and my coaching, because it is so critical for a lot of those for pretty much all of these deeper causes of falling off the wagon. Now, of course, we have things like physical challenges. I remember back to where I had neck pain and recurrent back pain. My back would go out of place, so to speak. I would have pain down my leg. I went through MRIs and CT scans. I was on all kinds of pain pills and couldn't sleep at night. I was exhausted and irritable. So I have been there. My periods were all over the place. It was just a nightmare. So health issues is one of those things that can make us feel like, to heck with it. I'm just going to focus. So you shift your focus on, I'm sick, instead of focusing on, I am determined to be well, right? And so we start seeing doctors, we do this and that, we end up on pills, and then we start to get very discouraged because now we're getting medication side effects. Like I remember having to take a pill at night, and then I would just be groggy all day, but it was the only thing that helped me sleep at night, so I kept using it, and just all the side effects. And just when you start to feel like, you're stressed because of your physical health, you start there's so many parts of your body that start to change, because our pituitary gland, our hypothalamus, our ovaries, our various other like adrenals, like they all kind of work together. So when you're interfering with that by having stress or putting pills into your body or all these different things, your whole body homeostasis and all your balance can be thrown off. And another big cause of this, which is I'm really focused on in my health programs, is being careful what you put into your body. Because when we put food additives and artificial colors and artificial sweeteners and trans fats and all this pro-inflammatory and toxic stuff into our body, it actually leads to more physical challenges, more pain, can lead to gut issues, imbalances in your hormones, and so much more, which is why decreasing food toxicities and reducing the inflammatory foods that you take into your body is so massively important, because you can see how it becomes this massive challenge between having medical problems and then you're fueling those problems by putting in the garbage food into your body, and it becomes this vicious cycle, and you need more pills, then you have more side effects, and da 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 da. It just goes on and on, right? So this is where taking a step back and saying, that's it. I'm done with this. I'm going to clean up my diet. I'm going to move the body. I'm going to drink tons of water to flush all this stuff out of my body and really reset your body and get things back to balance. And this is why I created something called the 8-week health reset, because this is what we do is we halt, we say to heck with this, stop, put on the brakes and say it's time. It's time to clean up the body. It's time to clean up the diet. It's time to start some hypnosis to really address some of these limiting beliefs, and and just time to start moving the body to get the circulation going and get some water moving through that body to clean things up. So this is the most important thing with these physical challenges, is taking a step back and saying, okay, I'm getting caught up in this cycle and it's time to make some major changes, because it does make a massive difference in your health. And whether it's looking at your blood tests, your inflammation levels, your thyroid, your hormone balance, everything is impacted by the way you treat your body, whether you put junk food into your body, pro-inflammatory and toxic food, and you're not moving your body and you're not hydrating, everything's going to be worse. And that is the truth. The sixth one is being in victim mentality. Now, nobody wants to admit they're in victim mentality. And I can look back in my life and I can see the times when I was saying, my son was causing some issues, right? So I couldn't do my workout, or my daughter was upsetting me for some reason, and so she needed me for something and she was all stressed out, and so now I couldn't do my workout and I ate some bad food, and just that life is getting in the way and all this kind of stuff, right? So what we're doing by that, it's not just pointing the finger at other people. It's saying our circumstance. Oh, I was busy at work. Work went way longer. I worked late. I was tired. I didn't get enough sleep, and this, da, 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 da. That is pointing your finger at your circumstances and allowing those circumstances to control your life. When we take a step back from victim mentality and take 100% responsibility and say, no, no, no. Health is the center of my life. My life revolves around my health, not the other way around. Nobody can interfere with my health because I'm putting it first. I'm setting boundaries, and I'm also living with intention. So this is the thing, is taking action, having your boundaries, and saying, no, no, no. When I say changing your mindset, I just mean that you're saying, I come first, my health is number one, and the rest of my life has to revolve around that central focus, which is my health, because that will make every part of your life better. Your relationships with people, your work environment, your energy, your ability to function, to enjoy, to laugh, to have a good time. When you have looked after your health first, your whole life will change, right? So when I say living by convenience, it's if we live by convenience, what we're doing is we're doing what's easy. It's like, oh, I don't feel like that right now. I don't feel like working out. I don't feel like cooking these vegetables and making a soup. I don't feel like, dealing with this thing, right? And so we shift what's truly important for what's easy. And that's what living by convenience is. And that's what happens when we live in victim mentality, is we're letting our circumstances and our emotions and all this stuff outside of us, everything else, control how we make decisions. So if we shift that and say, no more blaming other people, no more blaming circumstances, no more living by convenience and doing just what's easy, but rather taking decisive action, and being 100% responsible for making your health the central focus of your life. That is only something that we can do. We can choose to make health the central focus of our life. We can choose not to have French fries and Coke at the restaurant. We can choose to be responsible. And if everybody else is having fries and Coke, we can make the choice to have a delicious salad with the dressing on the side and a nice chicken breast. We can make responsible choices if we have health as our number one priority. This brings me to the next part, which is probably one of the most important things, is establishing a routine. Now, this is not something that is super rigid, like I have to be up at exactly 5 and I have to do this and I have to. No, I'm not talking about the sergeant routine where you have to have this done at a certain time, otherwise you punish yourself. No, 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 no. I'm talking about something where you set up a system for yourself that makes you feel really good, that makes you happy, that you can keep up with forever. So for an example, what I do the evening before, I say, okay, what am I going to do for exercise in the morning? I don't set a time unless I have specific appointments through the day where I know I have to be somewhere at a certain time. I just let my body wake up when it wants to. And I think, okay, tomorrow I'm going to do, let's say I'm going to do a 30-minute intense workout and then have my breakfast and then jump into my day after my stretching and so on and shower and all that and healthy breakfast. And that's it, right? Making the decision the night before, laying out my workout clothes and my shoes, and just knowing when I get up in the morning, I'm going to have a stretch. I'm going to do a little bit of hypnosis before I get out of bed, and I'm going to go do my thing that I planned the night before, right? So this is just a way to have structure to your system, right? So the night before, I always think about what I'm doing in the morning. And then every Sunday evening, I also think, what kind of a workout routine would be suitable for me this week, given my schedule, given my running training? Do I have, like, when is my next race? What kind of runs should I be doing this week to make sure I meet my running goal? Or am I going to do less running and more cardio or stretching or whatever? And so at Sunday evenings, I have an idea of what proteins I'm going to be eating this week because I make sure I have them in my fridge. And I'm also going to be looking at my workout plan and making sure that I have some healthy vegetables if I'm going to focus on salad or soup or whatever, and some healthy bread and things like that in the fridge, and some healthy snacks in the house, some raw unsalted nuts, some really nice avocados that are ready to go to put on my sandwiches and in my salads and so on. And just to be, so there's kind of a structure to have a routine set up for not only for your week, but then the night before saying, okay, look at my calendar. Oh, okay, I have a run in the morning. All right, I'm going to get to bed early. And when I get up, I'm going to drink a liter of water. I'm going to get myself limbered up and do some pre-running preparation. Maybe have a little pre-workout and then go hit the road and have my run. So the night before, I would have everything ready for that particular run, right? It doesn't have to be at 6 a.m. If I wake up at 8, I'll just run at 8. If I wake up at 5, I may go even earlier. So this is where flexibility is important, right? So that you don't have to be, you can be structured, but still be flexible in your plan. So let's say if I know I have to do 3 runs, but then something happens, let's say it's storming and it's lightning and I prefer to run outside. Let's say, okay, well, I was going to run on Tuesday morning, but it's super stormy. So, hey, let me just flip my Wednesday workout to Tuesday and I'll do my run the next day. No problem, right? So it's not like I'm going to be all upset with myself and ticked off because now I can't do my run on the day it was supposed to happen and all this. No, this is where it's really important to be flexible, and to give yourself grace. because sometimes weather impacts us, sometimes other things happen, so it's fine, right, to be flexible. But the important thing is to be consistent. So if you want to achieve a certain amount of exercise by the end of the week, let's say you want to exercise for 4 days or 5 days, whatever it is that you want to do that week. It could be doing armchair yoga. It could be doing a special IT band workout, an IT band stretching and flexibility, so that you can have a better run the next day, for example. So this is why I talk a lot about flexibility and how important that is. We still have to have discipline and say, no, like I still need to be consistent. I can't just say, oh, well, I don't feel like it today. I don't feel like running today. So then you just don't run. But you have no system, no structure to say, okay, I'll do this today instead and I'll run tomorrow, which is fine. But don't just live by circumstance and say, oh, I just don't feel like it today. Because that's not being self-integral and that's not being consistent with your goals, right? So this is the thing. It's really important to be consistent, have a sense of structure that's somewhat flexible, and you have a system in your calendar, in your whatever book that you use, so that you can kind of say, okay, this is what I'm going to do this week, and this is how I'm going to structure my week coming up. And when it comes to hypnosis, when it comes to your moving the body, when it comes to your food, having a successful routine involves all three of those. And if you're not doing hypnosis, like let's say if you're not on my program, you haven't done hypnosis or you're doing meditation, then having a consistent schedule for those quiet times, those meditations, so that you can be present with your body, that you can have some time for silence. Those are all really important things. So that's the thing, right? So this is the end of the podcast, but I just wanted to emphasize at the end how important having a personalized routine is, and knowing where you are, being clear on where you are now and where you want to go. Prioritize your health as number one. Really take a step back and look at your food, moving the body, and are you looking after yourself and making your health a priority? And you know what? Seek expert help if you need. Like for example, I'm a transformational health coach and a hypnotherapist. So I'm somebody who has programs and courses and one-on-one services that I can offer for people that really want that more individualized help. And there's other coaches out there as well. So, get the help if you feel that you need to, because guess what? We're all human. We all have times where we're going to be, swayed towards living from convenience, thinking, oh, I don't feel like it, or being affected by those old beliefs or those old childhood traumas, and procrastinating and all that kind of stuff. Guess what? Pretty much all of us have some degree of that. So pretty much every successful person that I know, whether it's in dating, or whether it's in fitness and in running and in life transformation and business, sales, like all the successful people that I know in all those areas have coaches. So, don't hesitate and feel like it's some kind of sign of weakness if you get a coach. I've had coaches for years in all different areas of my life, and I have had transformational change, on over and over and over as a result of having coaches. So I think it's really important. So there you have it. There is what I'm saying is the top 6 reasons why, especially women over 40, fall off the wagon when it comes to their health. This applies to men too, but I'm really, giving you examples of my own life, and I can speak from the perspective of a female. So this is why I really focus on helping females, because I have that experience as a female. So thank you so much for being here. I will put my contact information in the show notes. If you do want to reach out, send me a direct message and ask for help, feel free to do that. I also have the availability of a free 30-minute coffee chat if you want to chit chat about what seems to be the biggest issue for you. And if you want to set up a 30-minute free call with me, I can go through what my program and my courses offer, and we can certainly talk more about that. So thank you so much for listening, and I will see you on the next episode. If you're listening on or watching on YouTube, be sure to like this video and also subscribe to my channel. Thank you.